Experiential retail was one of the buzziest topics in retail before the pandemic, but mandated shutdowns across the country forced things to slow down. And now, as the pandemic wanes, consumers are eager to return to in person experiences, and a wave of new experiential tenants are opening stores as a result. This week, we are talking about foot traffic recovery to experiential locations, shopping in person versus e commerce, and new experiential store openings right now on everything we know about retail. Hello, everyone. My name is Ebere Anokute, and I'm coming to you from New York. The last in person experience that I had was probably when I went to brunch this past weekend. And today I'm joined by Keisha Virtue, who is in Boca Raton, Florida.
Hello. A recent experience I had was doing an intro class at Club Pilates.
Ooh, I can't wait to hear all about that. And you all will too, because this is everything we know about retail, where we tell you everything we know about retail, 3 things at a time. We broadcast live on the internet most Thursdays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. But you can watch this show and any other previous episodes anytime at everythingweknow.show. So, Keisha, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, tell us, what do you know about retail?
Well, Ebere, here's the first thing we know about retail. Foot traffic to experiential retail locations is up.
Yay.
Yay. As evidenced by my adventures this week, fitness traffic is heading upward too.
Okay,
So if we pull up that chart,
here we go.
if we take a look here, we can see that fitness traffic is now 5.7% above 2019 levels, which is pretty big.
That
People
is
really want to get back out there and socialize, and they want to look good when they're doing it. So we're seeing a lot of activity from fitness tenants lately. In our last Q1 report, it's going to be coming out soon, we saw that Planet Fitness continues to roll out their new locations. They took more than a quarter million square feet of space in the last quarter. And then you have boutique fitness tenants like F45 Fitness, Club Pilates, and Hotworks all taking space.
wow. Yeah, I can definitely imagine fitness tenants expanding or there being a lot of interest in fitness because I myself definitely didn't exercise as much as I should have during the pandemic and quarantine stuff
Right.
like that. So yeah, they've seen my face at the gym recently is how
That's
I'll put that.
great.
But I mean, Keisha, you said you went to a Pilates class recently, right? How was that?
I did. It was just yesterday, so I'm still feeling the burn,
Okay.
but it was absolutely wonderful. I mean, was a little nervous because it's been a really long time since I've done Pilates, and I've only done
Mm,
mat Pilates. But in the studio,
right.
you get to experience the reformers, which are wonderful machines. I just have to tell you, it was really a great experience. I can't wait to go back. So looking
Okay.
forwad to it, and I'm happy to say I was able to do most of the moves.
Oh yeah.
There are a couple that were a little challenging, like the reverse plank. But hey, that's
Mm-mm.
what classes are there. Classes are there for, right?
So
So
how does the reformer work? Like I've always heard
it's
about it. I've also only done Pilates on the mat and I was not a fan at all. I felt very helpless
it's
and slightly chubby. But I've always heard that the reformer it really changes the experience. So what do you
it
use? How do you use it?
I really wish I had a picture to show you, but it's basically
Okay.
this sliding apparatus where you can sit on it, lie on it, kneel on it. There are all these different things you can do. You can
Mm,
change the tension, and then you can use it to kind of control your movements. So you feel really smooth when you're doing these movements. So it
wow.
helps you to move, but it also gives you some tension there to kind of fight against, you know, whatever to improve your
Right.
overall control. So I mean, it's
Right.
wonderful in so many different ways.
It sounds like it. So are you going to go back? Is that what I'm hearing?
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
Okay.
just need to work up my package. But yeah, definitely, definitely want
Absolutely.
to go back. Yeah,
Yeah, because I think it's a new location, right? It's
it
near
is.
you in Boca.
Yeah, it's literally maybe about 10 or 15 minutes away from me. It's the second location in Boca, and Boca is
Right.
not big, very. So the fact that they're
Mm,
opening a second location really tells what's happening in the whole fitness industry. So
right. I can imagine there must be demand for it if they're opening so many
absolutely,
locations in a
hey,
small area.
Boca baby, definitely, there's definitely demand.
Absolutely. No, so I know you were talking about people wanting to look good and traffic is up to beauty and spa locations as well, right?
Absolutely. Beauty and spa traffic soared 27% from 3 years ago.
Wow.
So I actually had my own luxury spa experience a couple weeks ago, which
Oh,
was
really?
wonderful. Yeah, it was out of this world wonderful. So I guess I'm really pushing up those numbers with all my
Yeah.
activities
Listen, we're
lately,
reporting on your life right now,
right?
Keisha, which is it's fine with me.
Exactly. So spa is up, cosmetics are up because people want to really look good.
Right.
And when they look good, they want to head out to entertainment and bars, right? So
Right.
entertainment attractions like Dave and Buster's main event, that's been heading up too. So we're looking at a 22% climb from 2019 for
Wow.
those. And bars and pubs, no surprise, have seen upward traction as well. So they're heading up what, like 3.2% from
Okay.
April 2019 to 2022. So definitely people heading back out there. Now, if we look at that
Absolutely.
last line on the chart, theaters, yeah,
Mm.
they're doing better than 2020, right?
Okay.
But they still have some room to really make their way back. And we'll probably see those numbers jump quite a bit when blockbuster movies come out. So I don't know if you're a fan of Top Gun, Ebere, but it's coming out this weekend. You going?
I am not, but I've definitely heard of it, and I have been trying to make my way back to the movie theater. I saw the Batman
Oh,
I mean, maybe
yeah.
a month ago at this point, and I really enjoyed it. And I've been trying to go see what's that movie called? Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Have you heard about that?
No, I haven't.
It's like a new A24 movie, and I feel like they always do the cool, like artsy sort of releases.
Ah,
And
nice.
this one is starring Michelle Yeoh, and it's not what this show is about. But I'm very excited to make my way to the movies, and hopefully be part of driving up, this bottom line over here. Because yeah, as we can see, it's theaters have taken a little bit longer to recover than these
Mhm.
other sectors. And I think that definitely is probably impacted by maybe some of the shortcuts that these entertainment companies made to stay alive, right?
Exactly,
By
exactly.
partnering with those streaming services and stuff,
Mhm.
which is why people may not feel like they have to go back to the movie theater just yet. So hopefully we'll see, that return in the coming months as well.
I suspect we will.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
So,
okay.
eBerry, what do you know about retail?
Well, Keisha, here is the second thing that we know about retail, which is that new experiential tenants are opening all across the country. So we just heard from you about foot traffic returning to experiential locations, and we're seeing a lot of new experiential leases pop up as a result, right? So as people are making their way back outside, landlords and tenants are seeing that there's some value to these experiential spaces, and they're going to try to use those tenants to take up some of the open space that's on the market across the country. So there are a bunch of examples. And Keisha, you were so lovely to highlight a couple of these in your first quarter report, which will be released in the coming weeks. And so let's get into it. One of the first ones that is going to, or that has been expanding as a result of the renewed interest in in-person experiences is show fields. So I don't have a graphic for show fields. It's funny because in the intro graphic, a couple of those videos are I recorded them of James and Taylor at the show fields in New York downtown, but I couldn't find any other footage there to include. But Showfields, it is branded as the most interesting store in the world, right? I don't know if you've been, Keisha. I don't know if
I
you have
haven't.
you.
I was going to ask you what your experience was like in person when you went.
Yeah, so it's essentially a large marketplace where they offer a lot of brands, mostly DTC brands, I believe, a sort of immersive environment to sell their products in, right? So
Mhm.
I don't know, think of it like a flea market with a lot of DTC brands, but way more upscale, obviously. Not flea market
Yes,
aesthetic, but flea
but
market
yeah,
as
just
far as
yeah.
like all the stalls and things and all the
Mhm.
offerings and stuff. I remember when we went, and I think this is part of the nature of show fields is that it always the array of retailers or brands that they have there is always changing. So
Yeah,
frankly, even if I had a picture to show or a video, it wouldn't look like it looks now because it's
yeah,
constantly moving around, which is the best thing about it. And I think that is, the real experience of it is every time you walk in there, you're going to see a different array of retailers, a different arrangement of these retailers. And yeah, it's a really, really cool experience. So currently, like I mentioned, they have a location at Bond Street, which is downtown, currently in Midtown in New York City, as you can maybe see by my
oh,
background on the window. And they are now going to be opening a new store in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. So
Lots happening in
that
Williamsburg. Yeah.
lots happening in Williamsburg, Keisha. You're absolutely right. A lot of other brands have been flocking there. I think Williamsburg is experiencing sort of the after effects of, a lot of the residential
Yeah.
population in the area supporting the retail over there, right? So
Right.
as opposed to where I am right now in Midtown, which is mostly there's very little residential, mostly office, real estate. The retail in the area has sort of been suffering as a result because office populations are taking a little bit of time to come back. But in a place like Brooklyn, where residential populations have remained steady and they're patronizing those businesses, they're seeing a lot of activity as a result. So Showfields is just one example of
Great.
this sort of trend that we're seeing, and I think we're going to see it in a lot of different cities across the country, as we sort of continue to inch our way out of the pandemic. I'm very hesitant
Precisely.
to say that we're on the tail end. I'm very hesitant to say that we're exiting because it seems like there's a new setback, every week
Yeah.
almost. But
Yeah.
excuse me, as we make our way out, we're going to see a lot of this. And so Showfields, they leased almost 12,000 square feet at 187 Kent Avenue, and they're going to be opening in June of this year, which is very exciting. I'm gonna have to
Mhm.
make my way over there. I don't know, Keisha, if you're ever in New York, we're gonna have to make our way to
Right?
Williamsburg to
I'm
go
gonna have
check it
this
out.
whole itinerary of places I need to go.
Oh yeah, definitely, and yeah, we'll keep adding to the itinerary because even when James came to New York a couple weeks ago, we went to maybe, I'm exaggerating, but like it felt like 8 places in one day.
Wow.
Like there's just so much to see, so many places to go. So we'll definitely keep that on the list for when you come. But
Awesome.
they've also announced that they plan to open 4 new stores by the end of this year, and I
Nice.
imagine they're going to expand outside of New York. So maybe they're opening in Boca. I'll have to come down there and see you.
You're right? That would be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is Showfields, right? Showfield, like I
Mhm.
said, this sort of immersive marketplace. I think we're going to hear a lot more about them going forward, especially as they start to open more new stores. Because right now they just have the one, but apparently by the end of this year they'll have 5. So definitely,
Nice.
you heard it here first. You heard about Showfields here first.
Yeah.
The second retailer that is expanding is Meow Wolf, right?
Uh-huh.
So Meow Wolf is an arts and entertainment company that creates large-scale immersive art installations, and they are expanding their Area 15 concept, which I have a video of. Here we go. There we go. So this is actually an old video of James walking into Area 15 that we had saved up here. For those who are wondering where James and Taylor are, they're actually in Vegas right now at the ICSE convention, or at least wrapping it up. So that's why they're not on the show this week, but they will be back next week. No need to worry. And
Yeah.
so that video is really cool because it's an old one, but I imagine the exterior still looks the same. Um, so, like I said, Area 15 is sort of, I mean, I don't know how to even describe it, Keisha. Do you know how to describe Area 15?
I really don't because it wasn't in Vegas when I went, but I know
Right.
they're opening a location in Florida, right? So
They
I should
sure
be able to
are.
check it out soon.
Yeah, very soon. Listen, everything's going to Florida. All the people, all these new companies and stuff. We got to
Exactly.
make our way down there. Maybe
Uh-huh.
for our research meeting, maybe we got to go to Florida
I'm
instead.
saying we have so much, guys, and it's warm. It's just
Exactly right. Taylor and James, if you're listening, we're talking.
shameless plug
Oh,
for yeah, for South
yeah.
Florida. Yeah.
Here we go. Oh, we got a comment from James. It's also on Lincoln Road in my. I mean, come on. Come on. There it is right there. So it looks like we're doing a little bit of planning over here. Don't worry, guys. We're just talking through our next time we're gonna hang out in person. But like I said, Meow Wolf operates Area 15, which is sort of it's I think the height of experiential retail, right? They have all kinds of different art installations and exhibits and different stores in the space that you can shop at. Here is another video from inside that James was nice enough to record a few months ago that we are able to
Nice.
show now. So yeah, you can see there's stores, there's a lot of lights, there's a lot
A
of
lot of lights.
stimulation. I see some golf, I see a lot of art, a lot of pretty things to look at. So they currently have 3 locations in Santa Fe, Las Vegas, and Denver, which range from 20,000 to 75,000 square feet. And like James mentioned, they're going to be opening they're also, Showfields is in Miami. Sorry, Showfields is in Miami, but Area 15, like you mentioned, Keisha, is opening in Orlando.
Mm.
So that'll be very exciting. I'm seeing again a Miami Orlando road trip in our
Yeah.
future. I'm
Mhm.
not sure. We'll have to check back in on that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Excuse me. And the last company or uh, experiential retailer that is opening and expanding that I wanted to highlight is Drive Shack. So Drive Shack is a competitor to Topgolf. Keisha, are you a big golfer?
I've done it like maybe once or twice in my entire life. It was
Okay.
fine. But
Did you? Was it mini golf? Or were you actually like on
no,
the
it was
green and like?
actually on the green. It was like
Oh
part of
wow.
a program from our school that we live right, we my school was right beside a golf course. I think it was
Okay.
just something, and the putting was the easiest, definitely easier than the driving, but I
Definitely,
just
yeah. I've only ever done mini golf myself. I've gone to the driving range
uh-huh.
and embarrassed myself with my inability to, it's not as intuitive as you would think. It looks very simple, but
Mm-mm.
once you get there,
Exactly. It's
yeah,
not the
I
way you're
missed a
doing
couple
it. Yeah.
times. Yeah,
The
it was
footing
not
is so strange the way you have to hold your feet and swing.
exactly, exactly. It takes a little bit of practice getting into
Mhm.
it. But I've always enjoyed, mini golf when I've went. I've always enjoyed going to the driving range, especially when they have sort of like a, I don't know, a bar situation there, making it
Always
social.
helpful. Yeah,
Always
definitely.
helpful. Always helpful. So Drive Shack, they know this, right? And they are
Mhm.
doing their best, again, as a competitor of Topgolf, to gain some market share in the expanding entertainment category. You brought up entertainment a little bit at the beginning, and it's definitely probably the buzziest and most readily expanding sector of this, entertainment in-person experience sort of renaissance that we're experiencing. So Drive Shack is aiming to grow their puttery concept, which is an adults only competitive socializing experience centered around golf. I think it was made exactly for me. So here, I'll show you some pictures of the current location that they have in
Nice.
Dallas. This is actually in a suburb of Dallas called the Colony in Texas.
Ooh.
And that is one of the two locations that they currently have open, which is in Dallas and in Charlotte, North Carolina. They are currently expanding and have other venues under development in Washington, D.C., Miami, Houston, Miami.
I
Hello.
tell you, man, I'm going to just make a list. I'm going to make a
Okay.
list.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, this was not the intent of today's show, but I like that we stumbled
It's
upon.
really, yeah, it's working
Yes.
out. We
Yeah,
should
it's
just
working out.
we need to throw a fitness class in there too, and we
I
we'll
mean,
get
listen, I mean, maybe I'll go to Pilates and try
there you
out the
go.
reformer or whatever it's called.
Makes it
But like I
easier.
said,
Yeah.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, no, I was just saying it makes it easier. So, yeah.
Fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough. So yeah, Washington D.C., Miami, where I will be going, where I'll be going, Houston, Philadelphia, Chicago, Pittsburgh, and meatpacking in New York City in the meatpacking district. So this is just an example of the Dallas location. I feel like this sort of imagery right here is so that's like experiential retail 101. you know,
Yes, very much so.
very much. Like I feel like
With
I'm
a
sure they
little,
have something like
yeah.
this at Area 15. I'm positive. I've never been, but I
Yeah.
know that they do.
I'm actually surprised that that's not Area 15. It looks
Exactly. It
like
looks
it.
like it, right?
So,
This like optical illusion sort of vibe. I
yeah.
feel like I was looking at pictures for some of the other experiential locations, and I'm pretty sure Showfields had a wall like this as well. So
Mm,
this is how you know. This is how a litmus test to know if you're doing
exactly.
experiential
Mhm.
right. If you see a wall like this.
Right.
um, so yeah, like I said, those are just three of the expanding retailers: Showfields, Area 15 with Meow Wolf, and Drive Shack. But there are a bunch expanding all across the country, and it's definitely something that we're going to see a lot more of, especially as we get into the warmer months. Keisha, I know that that doesn't really mean anything to you since
It's
you're in
it's always
Florida.
warm in Florida. Just
Every
putting
month
that
is a warm
there.
month for
Yeah.
you.
Mhm.
But for us up here, we had a very in New York, we had a very late onset cold
Oh,
spring.
oh,
you know?
I'm
So
so
it was
sorry.
like 55 degrees up until maybe 2 weeks ago.
Oh, no.
And it's just starting to warm up now. So definitely as it continues to warm up, we're going to
Good.
be flocking to these different entertainment concepts. Maybe I'll make my way down to the puttery for Drive Shack when I get a chance sometime
Sounds
soon.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. But in the meantime, Keisha, tell me, please, what else do you know about retail?
Well, Ebere, here's the third thing we know about retail. E-commerce growth has finally begun to slow.
Oh wow,
Yes. Mhm.
that's
With people
crazy.
craving, yeah, exactly. With people craving all these in-person experiences again, e-commerce's share of retail sales has fallen over 200 basis points from its peak in 2020. So back in 2020, we were looking at maybe 16.4% in Q2 when everything was shut down, but
Right.
now it's hovering around 14.3%. So,
Mhm.
I mean, that's definitely very telling as far as people just wanting to really get back out there into stores and why retail sales in stores is doing so much better.
Sure.
And we're definitely seeing some movement now from DTC, direct to consumer brands as well, because the online space is so saturated right now that it's actually cheaper for, customer acquisition costs are actually lower for physical locations versus, trying to really make a presence and get people's attention online. So definitely they're opening physical locations. They're seeing the value, and their sales have been actually increasing because of this in their in person locations. So
Right. Keisha, I saw this, when you reported on this in the, upcoming Q1 report, which will be released very soon. And that fascinated me. The
yeah,
idea that customer acquisition costs are now more expensive online, right? So,
yeah,
when you think about all these companies that are built on the advertising model, right? Like
mhm,
Facebook or Twitter. And now I guess to advertise on, because that's how you acquire customers online, right? It's through marketing.
yeah,
You gotta
mhm,
put all the money into marketing. And now it must cost so much. This space is so expensive because of the reach of these platforms that now it's just interesting to see how people's or the mentality of these retailers has gone from we got to go online to now it's like, oh no, online is too saturated. Now we have to open a physical store if we want to, reach our customer in that way. I think it's such an interesting evolution of, retail.
yeah. It just shows. I mean, everybody wanted to go online and did, and
Hmm.
therefore it's just such a crowded space. Like, how do you get the attention of the consumer? I mean, it's like Minority Report when that guy was walking down with the glasses, and it's like
Right.
all these things popping up. You're not going to keep anybody's attention. A
Exactly.
physical location in your area is a much better, much better, I think, spend for any really good retailer. And so,
Absolutely.
we're seeing the usual DTC suspects. They've been very active. There's Warby Parker, of course, opening stores,
Of course.
Lululemon, Fabletics. Athleisure isn't over. People, a lot of people still working from home,
Of
at
course.
least some of the time. So they've actually all opened. All those brands have opened in my mall, which is like a
Oh wow.
mile away from me. And I really feel like Boca Town Center is like this microcosm of everything we're seeing in the broader retail space. And I just
We
love
got to
it.
do a report on just retail
Ye-
in Boca because it's
Yes.
booming.
Yeah, I mean, it really is a fantastic just look at what's happening. We're seeing home furnishings, we're seeing athleisure, it just
Right.
restaurants. It's fabulous. So
It's
let me
amazing.
just, I know I love Boca and I just can't. I'm so excited. But let me get to some other DTC examples here. First of all, Glossier, the makeup store, they're reopening in LA and London, and they're
Mhm.
also planning more openings this year, including in New York City. So you
Oh
may want to
wow.
check it out, Ebere. I'm not sure.
I don't wear too much makeup, but
No,
maybe
but
now's the time to start. Maybe
this
it's someone start.
the stores are pretty cool. I mean, I will
Okay.
say, I mean, I remember doing reports and reporting in Glossy, and it's very pink. I'm sorry, but it's still
Okay.
a really great thing to
I
take a look
love
at.
pink.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna head
millennial
over.
pink. Yeah. Shoe store Allbirds is opening in Denver, Chicago, and Boston, so they're definitely expanding as well.
Right.
Um, Makeup retailer Fenty by Rihanna, hey,
Okay.
they're blowing up. They're opening 5 cities this year as
Wow.
well. I saw something really cool online. It's this baby product brand called Lalo, and I'm hoping
Okay.
I'm pronouncing it right. They just unveiled a New York City flagship called Lalo
Okay.
Land. Um,
That sounds fun.
yes, it does. It has a play cafe, not a play zone, play cafe, if you please, and nursing nook, and it's it's pretty great when you see it online. So you can even celebrate your baby's birthday there. Apparently,
Oh
it's
wow.
this whole thing. So yeah, it's definitely really appealing to all the mothers to be and young mothers out there. So
Yeah. And
great,
and the play cafe is for the sophisticated baby in your
of
life, right?
course, absolutely.
Whoever that may
Very
be, they may
discerning
be,
baby in New York City. 'Cause
pinky
yeah,
up, etc.
yeah, yeah. So we're definitely seeing a lot of DTC brands expand, and of course, they really seem to nail experiential very, very well. So looking
Absolutely.
forward to seeing more examples.
We absolutely are. Thank you so much for that, Keisha. And that will bring us to the end of this week's broadcast. We do not have a retail challenge this week. We decided to just let you all go easily into the long weekend rather than, hold you up with some with some trivia questions that you may
Yeah,
or may not get right.
right.
Um, so that means that I would like to encourage you all to check out the Where We Buy podcast. Here we go. Yep. Which is where James Cook conducts in-depth audio interviews, and you can listen to all of them at wherewebuy.show. You can also find that on your favorite podcast app, whether that is Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher is one that I've heard of. So whatever you like to listen to podcasts on, go check it out over there. We'd also like to encourage you to hit the subscribe button on YouTube. And click on the little bell icon so that you're notified every time new shows come out each week.
Or follow the JLL Retail page on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, which you can find obviously on LinkedIn.
Yes, exactly. We will be back next week. New episode is on Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 Eastern. Go to everythingweknow.show or check us out again on the JL Retail LinkedIn page. So, Ebere, I have a question for you.
Okay, shoot.
Where's the next experiential store opening?
Well, Keisha, I know that's a topic this week, and I would love to tell you, but I'm going to have to tell you next week.
All right.